You save $500 a month for 3 years straight. You check your investment account expecting to feel like a financial genius, and the balance says $19,000. Congratulations. You could almost buy a used Honda Civic. Meanwhile, your coworker who started investing 10 years ago just posted on Slack that his portfolio went up $47,000 last quarter. He didn't even add new money. The market just did that for him while he was on vacation. You want to throw your laptop out the window. This is the part of wealth building nobody warns you about. The beginning doesn't feel like building wealth. It feels like stuffing cash into a mattress that's slowly deflating. You're doing everything right, maxing your Roth IRA, buying index funds, living below your means, and your net worth is crawling forward like a drunk snail. What you're experiencing isn't failure, it's physics. Imagine pushing a giant 2-ton boulder up a mountain. The first 100 feet are agony. Your legs are shaking. You're drenched in sweat. You look back and you've moved 12 feet in an hour. This is you from zero to your first $100,000. It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to feel impossible because right now you're doing 100% of the work. As Luke 14:28 teaches, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? There's a specific point on that mountain where gravity stops fighting you and starts helping you. The boulder begins to roll on its own. That's the snowball effect. And it doesn't start on day one. It starts after you've already bled for it. Let's talk about why the first chunk feels like financial torture. When you're starting from zero, your investment returns are mathematically useless. If you have $5,000 invested and the market goes up 10% in a year, you made $500. That's dinner. But it's not life-changing. In the early phase, roughly the first 5 to 7 years for most people, almost all of your account growth comes from you manually shoveling money into it. The compound interest everyone romanticizes is happening, but it's happening on such a small base that it's basically invisible. You save $6,000 this year. The market gives you $400 and your brain registers that as, I did all the work. And you're right, you did. This is the phase where people quit. They see their friend buy a boat or lease a BMW, and they look at their brokerage account that says $23,000 after years of sacrifice, and they think, what's the point? The point is that you're building the foundation for a machine that will eventually run without you. But foundations are underground. Nobody sees them. Nobody congratulates you for pouring concrete. Proverbs 21:20 says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. The math says that for the average person investing consistently, it takes about 7 to 8 years to hit that first $100,000. That's 2 presidential terms. That's long enough to forget why you even started. But that first $100,000 is the activation point. Once you cross it, something shifts. Suddenly, a 10% year doesn't give you $500. It gives you $10,000. That's real money. Your contributions still matter, but now they're being amplified by something you're not directly controlling. Your money has started pulling its weight. The second $100,000 from $100,000 to $200,000 typically takes about 5 years, not 8. Same contributions from you, but the math has changed sides. The market is now doing enough heavy lifting that the boulder is visibly rolling faster. By the time you're sitting on $400,000 or $500,000, if you're lucky enough to catch a strong bull market year, your account might go up $60,000 or $80,000 in 12 months. You didn't save $80,000. You probably saved $15,000 and the market did the rest. That's the crossover point. That's when you realize your financial future is no longer tied exclusively to your ability to show up and trade hours for dollars. Proverbs 22:7 is blunt. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. People talk about financial independence like it's some distant fantasy, but the reality is simpler. Financial independence starts the moment your assets generate more than your labor. You might still work, but the existential terror of, if I lose my job, I lose everything, starts to dissolve. You can't hack compound interest. It's math, not a life hack. But you can hack the inputs. Earn more, spend less, save the difference. It's not sexy. There's no algorithm. You're just trying to feed the snowball as fast as possible before it starts rolling on its own. The other lever is time, which you can't buy, but you can stop wasting. Every year you delay starting is a year you lose at the back end when the compounding is doing the most work. The mistake that kills momentum. You're 5 years in. You've got $60,000 saved. You're exhausted. You see a car you want or convince yourself you deserve a nicer apartment and you pull $20,000 out. You just reset the snowball. You're not just losing $20,000. You're losing all the compound growth that money would have generated over the next 20 years. The only rule during the push phase is don't stop pushing. You don't need to be smart. You don't need to pick stocks or time the market. You just need to be consistent and patient enough to survive the boring part. 1 Timothy 6:6 NIV reminds us, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Once you're past $500,000 or $600,000, the game fundamentally changes. A bad month might see your portfolio drop $30,000. A good month might add $50,000. These aren't numbers you saved. These are numbers the market is moving around and you're along for the ride. The smartest play is often to keep living like you're broke for a few more years. You're at $700,000. If you keep contributing and the market cooperates, you'll hit $1 million in under 4 years. At $1 million, a 10% year is $100,000. You could stop contributing entirely and let it sit. But the temptation is real. You spend a decade clawing your way there, living below your means, and then your brain says, I made it. Time to enjoy life. So you upgrade everything, and suddenly your lifestyle costs jump 40%. You kneecap the exponential phase. Philippians 4:11-13 and an NIV teaches us to learn contentment in any situation, knowing we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. The hardest part isn't the math, it's sitting on a pile of money that could change your life right now and choosing not to touch it for the greater long-term freedom. The goal isn't just a number, it's a life where the number stops mattering because you've built something worth living even without it. A life of purpose, generosity, and faithful stewardship. If this encouraged you in the middle of your own push phase, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Drop a comment. How many years have you been investing? And what keeps you going when it feels slow? May the Lord give you patience, discipline, contentment, and wisdom as you faithfully build what He has entrusted to you. Shalom.